For those of you who don't know what Bride of Chucky is, Bride of Chucky, also known as Child's Play 4, Bride of Chucky or Child's Play 4, is a 1998 Canadian/American comedy horror film directed by Chinese director Ronnie Yu. It is the fourth entry in the Child's Play series. The film stars Jennifer Tilly, who plays and voices the titular character Tiffany, and Brad Dourif, who voices Chucky. This movie co-stars John Ritter, Catherine Eagle, and Nick Stable. The music score is composed by Graham Rayvale, who previously did the music for Child's Play 2. Bride of Chucky marks the point where the series takes a more humorous turn, often into self-referential parody. Thus the change from the Child's Play in the title. Contrary to the previous three films, the violence in Bride of Chucky is punctuated by humor to deflate the macabre visuals. The film follows the events of the previous films continuity-wise, but not tonally or in a continuation of those films' overall plot, where Chucky pursued the character Randy Barclay. This film also marks Chucky's new permanent look, set in 1998, and a month after the events of Child's Play 3. Tiffany Valentine, Jennifer Tilly, a former lover and accomplice of serial killer Charles Leray, voice of Brad Dourif, acquires Chucky's remains after bribing and later murdering a police officer by slashing his throat to remove the dismembered, good guy, doll parts from an evidence locker. Believing Ray's soul to be inhabiting the doll, Tiffany crudely stitches Chucky back together and reenacts the voodoo ritual which instilled Ray inside the doll a decade ago. Though her changes initially fail to produce results, Chucky unexpectedly springs to life and kills Tiffany's goth admirer Damien, Alexis Arquette, by choking him with a pillow while Tiffany watches with excitement. Tiffany and Chucky then get into an argument because Tiffany believed Chucky wished to marry her. Upon learning he had no intention of doing so, Tiffany throws him in a playpen and locks it. While Tiffany is watching TV while taking a bath, Chucky escapes and kills her by pushing the TV into the bath. Then, using the same voodoo spell, Chucky gains further revenge against Tiffany by transferring her soul into a female doll so she could feel what Chucky went through as a living doll. Chucky, who is still intent on becoming human again, concocts a plan with Tiffany to retrieve an amulet that was buried with Ray's body and use the bodies of Tiffany neighbor Jesse, Nick Stable, and his girlfriend Jade, Catherine Eagle, as a means to return to their normal lives. Tiffany sends Jesse a message asking him to take the two dolls to New Jersey in exchange for cash. Jesse convinces Jade to go with him and helps her pack. Meanwhile, Jade's police officer Uncle Warren, John Ritter, breaks into Jesse's car and plants a bag of marijuana to frame Jesse, whom he dislikes. Afraid he would ruin their plans, Chucky and Tiffany kill him by setting up an airbag to launch nails into his face. After the dolls hide the body under the back seat, Jesse and Jade return and begin their trip. Outside of a convenience store, they are pulled over by Officer Norton, who asks to search Jesse's car for the planted drugs. After he finds it, he goes to his car to report to Warren. During this time, Chucky crawls over and shoves a cloth into Norton's gas tank and lights it. Norton is killed when his car explodes, and seeing the explosion, Jesse and Jade flee the scene. Soon, they stop at a wedding chapel/hotel and are married. They meet a con artist couple who steal Jesse's money. During that time, Jade's uncle, still alive, tries to run away but is stabbed numerously by Chucky in the back. As the criminals have sex in their room, Tiffany takes a bottle of champagne and throws it into the mirrored ceiling, sending down shards of glass and killing the two con artists. Chucky and Tiffany begin to make love. The next morning, the maid finds the corpses of the couples and Jesse and Jade drive away with their best friend David, who knew about their plan to elope and heard about the recent murders. He reveals Chucky finds Jade and forces her to take him to his gravesite, while Jesse takes Tiffany and follows them. While the medical examiner is digging, Chucky shoots him in the back of the man's head and orders Jade to open the casket and give him the amulet. After she breaks it off his skeleton's neck, she throws it out at him. Jesse then appears with Tiffany and they trade hostages. While Jessie and Jade embrace, Chucky is about to throw his knife at Jade until Jessie turns her around and is stabbed in the back. After Jade pulls the knife out of his back, they are tied up for the ritual. Before Chucky starts the body-switching chant, Tiffany distracts him by kissing him while she pulls the knife out of his pocket, stabbing him in the back. They fight until he stabs her in the heart, where she collapses to the ground. While distracted, he is knocked into his grave and demands to be let out. A private investigator arrives to see Jade pointing a gun into the hole. He sees Chucky and watches as Jade shoots Chucky multiple. Jennifer Tilly as Tiffany, Brad Dourif as voice of Chucky, Catherine Hegel as Jade, Neil McClinton as Jesse, Alexis Arquette as Howard Fitzwater / Damian Baylock, Gordon Michael Wolfett as David Plumance, John Ritter as Chief Warren Kincaid, Lawrence Dane as Lieutenant Preston, Michael Johnson as Officer Norton, Needla Knows, James Gallanders as Russ, Janet Kidder as Diana, Kathy Najimy as Motel Maid, Edit. Tiffany, also known as the Bride of Chucky, is a murderous doll and the main protagonist featured in the latter two films in the Child's Play series of horror films, famous for featuring the iconic killer doll Chucky. She sported a gothic style of clothing and makeup, along with a tattoo of a broken heart above her breast that had Chucky written above it. After becoming a doll, she redos its hair and makeup to resemble a miniature version of herself and wears a golden necklace that says, Tiff. Her style also changes notably in the next film. Her lips are now smaller, her hair is straighter, she no longer wore the leather jacket, and she wears a different dress and new boots. Also, like Chucky, she wants to transfer her soul to the human protagonist. Tiffany is a muddle of different styles. She dresses in a gothic fashion and can be described as a hopeless romantic. She has a bimbo air, but is clever, inventive, and somewhat feminist. Goodbye.